Welcome, grade 10 learners of the Zamboanga National High School West. So again, I am here to share with you the video for the third quarter. So sit back and relax. Again, take hold of your modules with you, your capslet, your answer sheets, and your pencil or pen. Thank you and enjoy listening and watching this video of mine. Visual lesson number 1, the human reproductive and endocrine system. This is G10 Science, Quarter 3, Week 1. And I am Maria Vicenta Galvez Evangelista, an SST 3 teacher of the Zamboanga National High School West, handling G10 Learners. We shall begin by looking at the different learning competencies that we needed to achieve. We are going to describe the parts and functions of the male and female reproductive system. And we are going to explain the role of hormones involved in the male and female reproductive system. That is our most essential learning competencies. Let's start. What is reproductive system? The reproductive system is a collection of internal and external organs in both male and females that work together to procreate. The primary function of the human reproductive system is to produce sex cells. When a male and female sex unites, an offspring grows and develops that have some of the genetic characteristics of both parents. The reproductive system is closely associated with other organ systems, particularly the nervous system and the endocrine system. The nervous system receives information from the organs and adjusts signal to these organs to maintain proper functioning. The growth and activity of these organs are regulated by hormones from the endocrine system. What organ system is associated with the reproductive system and what are their functions? That is our self-assessment question number 1. Well then, the answer is the nervous system and the endocrine system. What is the function of the reproductive system in general? It's the production of gametes, fertilization, development and nourishment of a new individual, and the production of reproductive hormone. So that's it. We'll move now to the male reproductive system and how it functions. The male reproductive system is responsible for the secretion of hormones, the production of sperm cells, and the transfer of sperm cells. Let's look at the different parts and functions of the male reproductive system. We have the following. You have your penis, the urethra, the ductus deferens, your bulbourethral gland, your epididymis, then you have the testicles. Below is a table of the parts, location, and function of the male reproductive system. And we are going to describe them one by one. Let's have the penis. The location is external. This is a cylindrical organ that becomes erect during sexual stimulation. Next to penis is the scrotum. This is a loose pouch-like sac of skin that acts as a climate control system for the testes. Then we have the testicles or the testes. These are oval organs about the size of large olives that lie in the scrotum. It is responsible for making testosterone, the primary sex organ, and for generating sperm. Then we have the epididymis. This is one of the internal structure. This is a long coiled tube that transports and stores sperm cells to maturity. Then you have your vas deferens. This is a long muscular tube that transports mature sperm to the urethra. The urethra in turn is the passageway of urine from the bladder, and it has an additional function of ejaculating semen. Next, we have the seminal vesicles. These are sac-like pouches. It produces a sugar-rich fluid or fructose that provides sperm with a source of energy to help them move. Next is the prostate gland. This is a walnut-sized structure that produces fluids that help nourish the sperm. Then lastly, you have the bulbourethral gland or the Cowper's gland. Okay. Let's go to the parts and function of the female reproductive system. What are the different parts, location, and functions of the female reproductive system? The female reproductive system is responsible for the production of female sex cells. It is also responsible for the production of female sex hormones, and it is a reception of the sperm cell from the male. And lastly, this is for nurturing the development of and providing nourishment for the new individual. The control of the reproductive or reproduction in females is more complex than that of the male because it has several additional functions. This includes menstruation, pregnancy, and egg cell production. During childhood, GnRH levels are low. As puberty hits, GnRH levels begin to rise. Let's look at this table. The first column is the parts of the female reproductive system. The second is location, and the last part is the function. The first part that we are going to discuss is the clitoris, which is responsible, or this is the site of the female sexual stimulation. Next to it is the labia majora. And this is a large fleshly folds of tissue that covers labia minora, contains sweat and sebaceous glands. Next is labia minora. These are two small folds of skin that protect female external genitals. Next is vulva. This is the external female genitalia that surrounds the opening of the vagina. Then we move to the internal structures, and the first one are the ovaries. These are structures about the size and shape of an almond that develop the egg cells. Next is uterus. This is a hollow muscular organ that supports the developing embryo. Next is the vagina. This is an elastic muscular canal or tube for intercourse, birth canal, and passing menstrual flow. Next is urethra. This is a hollow tube that carries urine from the bladder to outside of the body. The last one is the fallopian tube. These are long slender tubes that connect to the ovaries to the uterus. And this is where the ova or the eggs travel through this tube. Okay, so let's go to defining what are hormones so that we can answer our competencies. A hormone is a chemical that is made by specialized cells, usually within an endocrine gland, and it is released into the bloodstream to send a message to another part of the body. A, that is endocrine gland to endocrine gland. B, endocrine gland to the target organ. How do hormones function? There are many types of hormones that act on different aspects of bodily functions and processes. Some of these includes the development and growth, metabolism of food items, cognitive function and mood, maintenance of body temperature and thirst, and sexual function, reproductive growth, and health. Let's look at the different hormones. The first one is GnRH or gonadotrophin releasing hormone. This hormone is made by the hypothalamus, causes the pituitary gland in the brain to make, secrete the follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. The FSH or follicle stimulating hormone and the LH or luteinizing hormone are the hormones essential to pubertal development and the function of women's ovaries and men's testes. Then the last one you have spermatogenesis. This is the origin and development of the sperm cells within the reproductive system or the reproductive organ which is the testis. Let's build up. How do hormones affect the male reproductive system? The entire male reproductive system is dependent on hormones, which are chemicals that stimulate or regulate the activity of cells or organs. The primary hormones involved in the functioning of the male reproductive system are the follicle-stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone and the testosterone. Let's look at figure 5.1, which is the flow of hormones from the hypothalamus to the testes. At the onset of puberty, the hypothalamus begins secreting high pulses of gonadotropin releasing hormone, and in response, the pituitary gland releases the follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. And this FSH, or the follicle stimulating hormones, enters the testis, stimulating the Sertoli cells, which help to nourish the sperm cells that testis produce to begin facilitating spermatogenesis or spermatogenesis. LH also enters the testis, stimulating the interstitial cells called Leydig cells, and release the testosterone into the testes and blood. Okay. Testosterone is the hormone responsible for the secondary sexual characteristics of the male adolescents. During this time, it stimulates spermatogenesis, or the process of sperm production in the testes. Secondary characteristics include the deepening of the voice, the growth of facial, axillary, and pubic hair, and the beginning of the sex drive. Testosterone, on the other hand, is responsible for the secondary characteristics that develop in the male during adolescence. Okay. So let's look at figure 5.2, which is the negative feedback of the male reproductive system. The negative feedback system occurs in the male with rising levels of testosterone, acting on the hypothalamus and the anterior pituitary to inhibit the release of GnRH, FSH, and LH. The Sertoli cells produce the hormone inhibin into the blood when the sperm count is too high. This inhibits the release of GnRH, FHS, or FSH rather, which will cause spermatogenesis to slow down. So this is the negative feedback mechanism. So that's why The endocrine system works well with the human reproductive system, and at the same time, it has a coordination with the nervous system. That's why in the first SAQ, you were made to answer which of the following system or which of the following uh, system coordinates with the function of the human reproductive system, and your answer was the nervous system and the endocrine system. So let's move to SAQ 2. What are the effects of testosterone to the male reproductive system? Very good. Your answer is testosterone activates secondary sexual characteristics that develop in the male during adolescence, and it stimulates spermatogenesis, or the process of sperm production in the testes. Very good. Let's look at the female reproductive system in general. The control of reproduction in females is more complex than that of the male, as it has several additional functions. This includes menstruation, pregnancy, and egg cell production. During childhood, GnRH levels are low. As puberty hits, GnRH levels begin to rise. Okay. Estrogen is a reproductive hormone in females that assists in endometrial lining of the uterus, and it is also responsible for the secondary sexual characteristics. So this estrogen is responsible, or it assists in the regrowth, ovulation, and calcium absorption. This includes, for the secondary sexual characteristics of females, it includes breast development, flaring of the hips, and a shorter period necessary for bone remediation. Let's look at figure number 6, which is the flow of hormones from the hypothalamus to the ovaries. Okay, the hypothalamic hormone, which is GnRH, or the gonadotrophin-releasing hormone, causes the release of hormones FSH and LH from the anterior pituitary. FSH stimulates the development of egg cells called the ova, which developed in structures called follicles in the ovary. In addition, estrogen and progesterone are released from the follicles. Follicle cells produce the hormone inhibin, which inhibits FSH, or the follicle stimulating hormone production. LH plays an important role in the development of the ova, as well as the induction of ovulation and stimulation of estradiol and progesterone production of the or by the ovaries. Let's have a short trivia. Both testosterone and estrogen are present in everyone's bodies, but higher amounts of testosterone tend to be present in biologically male, take note, male bodies, and higher amounts of estrogen tend to be present in biological female bodies. So you have testosterone for males and estrogen for the females. Let's have SAQ number 3. What happens when estrogen and progesterone are released from the developing follicles? Estrogen stimulates the female secondary sexual characteristics, assists in endometrial regrowth, ovulation, and calcium absorption. Progesterone, on the other hand, is a steroid hormone that prepares the body for pregnancy. Okay. Let's go to Let's Practice. You will be given 10 minutes to complete the table. You are going to fill in the correct information to complete the table. Okay? The epididymis is a long coiled tube. It functions to transport and store sperm cells to maturity. Correct. The vagina is an elastic muscular canal or tube, and this is used for intercourse. It's our birth canal and for passing menstrual flow. Then we have the bulbourethral gland. This is a pea-sized structure, and this structure produces a clear, slippery fluid included in the semen that lubricates the urethra to neutralize any acidity. Then we have the testicles. These are oval organs about the size of a large olive. And the testicles are responsible for generating sperm and production of testosterone. And lastly, you have the ovaries, which is an almond-sized structure, and it produces and develops the egg cell. Okay, let's have table number 2. For Let's Practice, write down the effects of the different hormones to the reproductive system. You have 10 seconds to answer. And I hope you are answering it best so that you will have good points in your module. Okay, let's reveal the answers. Hormone estrogen is the reproductive hormone in females that assists in endometrial or the lining of the uterus for regrowth, ovulation, and calcium absorption. It is also responsible for the secondary sexual characteristics of females like breast enlargement and all sorts. Next, you have inhibin. These are hormones that causes spermatogenesis to slow down for males and inhibits follicle stimulating hormone production for the females. Then you have gonadotrophin releasing hormone or GnRH. This causes the release of hormones or the follicle stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone or LH from the anterior pituitary. Very good. You are amazing. We're almost up to the end because we are in our last part, the try part, which is the assessment. But before that, we shall have a summary of the reproductive system and the endocrine system. Most of the male reproductive system is located outside of the body, and these external structures are the penis, scrotum, and testes for the males. The function of the male reproductive system include producing and transporting sperm, ejaculating sperm into the female reproductive tract, and producing and secreting male hormones. Next, female internal reproductive organs are the vagina, uterus, fallopian tubes, cervix, and the ovary. The female reproductive system contains two main parts: the uterus, which hosts the developing fetus, produces vaginal and uterine secretion, and passes anatomically male sperm through the fallopian tubes and the ovaries, which produce the anatomically ova or the egg cells. Okay, let's look at the role of the hormones in the reproductive system. The start of the puberty is signaled by high pulses of GnRH secreted by the hypothalamus. This signal the release of FSH and LH from the anterior pituitary. For men, as spermatogenesis and testosterone production is increased, the Sertoli cells produce inhibin, which together with rising levels of testosterone inhibit the release of FSH and LH from the pituitary gland. In the woman's body, the release of FSH and LH from the anterior pituitary signals the ovaries to produce estradiol and progesterone. Okay? FSH stimulates growth and maturation of follicles on the ovaries, which house and nourish the developing eggs. The follicle in turn releases inhibin, the production of FSH. So that is for our summary. We are going to answer our assessment. On your answer sheets, shade the correct answer that best give you the idea that that is the correct answer for that statement. Let's have number 1. Which of the statements below describes the ovary? A. This is the site of female sexual stimulation. These are two small folds of skin. Letter C. Hollow muscular organ. B. Almond-sized structure. 5 seconds to answer. Yeah, thank you so much. The answer is letter D. Okay. For number 2, which hormone causes regrowth of the endometrial lining of the uterus? A. Testosterone. B. Progesterone. C. GnRH or gonadotrophin releasing hormone. Letter D, estrogen. The answer is letter D. Okay. Number 3. What will happen if GnRH production is blocked? Sperm production will increase. FSH level will decrease. Letter C, LH level will increase. Letter D, inhibin will decrease. The answer for number 3 is letter B. FSH, or the follicle stimulating hormone level, will decrease. Number 4. Which of the statements below describe the penis? A. A cylindrical shaped organ. B. A long coiled tube. C. A walnut-sized structure. D. A sac-like pouches. What's the answer for number 4? The answer is letter A. This is a cylindrical shaped organ. Okay, next we go to number 5. Why are the testicles located outside the male body? A. There is no extra space inside the body. B. More sperms may be produced. C. Production requires a controlled temperature lower than the body. Letter D. For a faster movement of the sperm. Okay, the answer is letter C. Production requires a controlled temperature lower than the body. Number 6. Which hormone causes Leydig cells to make testosterone? A. Follicle stimulating hormone. B. Luteinizing hormone. C. Inhibin. D. Estrogen. Okay, the answer is letter B. A luteinizing hormone. Number 7. Which hormone causes FSH and LH to be released? Choices: A. Testosterone. B. GnRH. C. Estrogen. D. Progesterone. What's the answer for number 7? You have G and RH. Number 8. Which hormone signals ovulation? A. Follicle stimulating hormone or FSH. B. LH, luteinizing hormone. C. Inhibin. D. Estrogen. The answer is letter D. Estrogen. Number 9. In what organ does sperm maturation occur? A. Epididymis. B. Vas deferens. C. Testis. D. Prostate gland. What's the answer? Very good. Letter A, epididymis. Last number. Below is a diagram of the male reproductive system. Let's look at the question. What is the organ labeled X in the diagram that produce fluids to help the sperm to move? A. Urethra. B. Vas deferens. C. Seminal vesicle. D. Prostate gland. What's the answer? Very good. Letter C. It's the seminal vesicle. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much, and God bless and be safe. Don't forget to like and subscribe my YouTube channel, and you can always review this video anytime, anywhere, and if you think the video is too fast for you, you can pause and play, or you can always return to the first slide. Okay, thank you so much. On behalf of the Zamboanga National High School West and the Department of Education, thank you so much, and keep safe, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you. See you on my next video lesson.